Good afternoon and welcome to this week's Lunch and Learn. I'm Carolyn Berry, the Executive Director at Alzheimer's Arkansas. If you're here with me, send me a hi. Let me know where you're at. Today in Little Rock, it is gloomy and wet and cold, and I'm kind of feeling that way, which led me to today's topic. However, I'm going to let you know about some great things we have going on at Alzheimer's Arkansas, especially in the month of November. So next month is National Caregiver Month, the month of November, and we will be highlighting caregiver stories during our Lunch and Learn slots. So if you have a caregiver story that you may want us to highlight, we are still taking a few. So you can contact me here, give me a call, give Zach a call, give somebody at the office a call, and maybe we could use your story. So during that month, you're going to be able to text and give in honor of a caregiver. So how you can do that is text caregiver to 91999. Again, we are highlighting caregivers and the fabulous jobs that they do. Our loved ones, even our society couldn't do it without unpaid family caregivers. So we would just like to take a moment to highlight them and celebrate them, and just let us know if you know a caregiver who needs highlighting or needs celebrating. Also during November, on November the 14th, we have a drive-in in Jacksonville. We are playing Free Birds. So it's also highlighted a caregiver night out. So if you are a caregiver and you would like to attend, we will have limited respite care grants. So caregivers, if you would like to come out, need to hire somebody for respite care, contact us and we can help pay for a caregiver for the evening. On November the 21st, we will be having a drive-in in Malvern. We will be playing Free Birds there as well. So if you would like a fun, family-friendly night out, social distancing safe, please look at coming to either both or one of our drive-in theaters during the month of November. There's our link to the movie. So if you want tickets, it is pay it as you can. So please join us. We will also be opening up the Family Assisted Program grant on the 1st. So if you have not received a grant in 2020, please look for the open link on November the 1st. We are focusing on people that have not received the grant for the year, new grant FAP 2020 recipients. So that will be on our website November the 1st. So I think that's about all we have going on right now, but let's start with today's program. So today I kind of struggle with what we're going to talk about. So sometimes you have to talk about what, what's going on with me personally, and I know what's going on with a lot of caregivers is caregiver stress. So I think one of the most important parts about caregiver stress is recognizing stress, knowing that you are stressed, recognizing like the signs and symptoms, and finding ways to manage it. So in the last few months, I found myself in caregiver situations. Now, I don't know if I should say fortunate, but I did not have to caregive in a home. However, I was like caregiving from a distance outside of the home, but it took me like a lot of days to go to their homes or to their facilities to help them and to get tasks done. So I was not a hands-on caregiver that I was like bathing, doing those day-to-day tasks. However, I found that it became very stressful very quick. So I have a group of stressors, 10 symptoms of stress that I found with the association that I would like to share. Here it is. So 10 symptoms of caregiver stress. Now, another thing I would like to disclose is I did not care for anyone with Alzheimer's or some form of dementia. However, I found myself with a lot of these symptoms and of stress despite that. So, denial. I was in denial. And the person that I was caring for was in denial as well. So, everybody was in denial. And when I say that, maybe not about a diagnosis of dementia, but although I seen and maybe they seen that things were not going to get better, we had hope, but I think we had unrealistic hope, which caused a lot of stress. Because when you have unrealistic hope, you're looking for things that you know are not going to happen. However, when you have unrealistic hope and denial about the true part of the diagnosis and the true symptoms and the true outcomes, it makes dealing with caregiving and the person really hard. And when things don't happen, you're more stressed and you're disappointed, which causes more stress. I did not have to deal with anger at the person, but I did deal with anger with situations. Other people that did not understand what was going on, other people who didn't take things serious, and just didn't see things how. So I angered easily. So that is a symptom of the stress. Even made me angry because I felt like I shouldn't be doing the caregiving. So anger is a symptom of stress. Social withdrawal. Now, social withdrawal happens so easy and so fast that you may not even really recognize it. So, and you may be using it in some way as a self-care technique. However, we do need our friends, neighbors, and family. So, of course, when you're caregiving, you don't have time. And I hear that a lot. And I was in this situation. I did not have time to do my normal activities and things that once brought me pleasure or even self-care. So it's easy to say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to hang with my friends because you're exhausted and you have so many things to do. One of the things that I found myself doing sometimes is not answering the phone. So that is something I talk to people a lot. Could you imagine that? I have friends and a lot of people that I care about and care about me, but sometimes I just didn't answer the phone when they were trying to check on me. I just could not do it. So even the day-to-day task of answering phone calls or somebody that can make you laugh became really hard for me to do. So I was socially withdrawn. So of course it's COVID and I can't go out as much as I can, and we're kind of getting used to that. But even my weekly phone calls or daily phone calls, I would skip because I just was isolating myself. So depression. So quickly, I learned about, if I didn't know before, situational depression. Now there is depression that is clinical, and it's people have hormone imbalances, but we can quickly slide into a depression that is circumstantial, and sometimes we don't really understand that, and it makes sense because we're sad or we have things going on, but we do need to combat that depression so it does not become a part of our life and cause havoc in our life. So social withdrawal, going back to like social withdrawal, and then I had a little depression, and over here I kind of skipped the number, anxiety about the future. I had a lot of anxiety because I was looking at the situation and I was like, this is already more than I can bear. What if this happens? Will I be able to provide the next level of care. So that causes stress because you're always worrying. Then we have exhaustion, especially if you're working. And not saying that if you're not working, you don't have exhaustion. But when you're caregiving, you have your day-to-day tasks, you're working. If you have children, those children still need taken care of. They still have basketball practice, football, school, all these things. School is different. So we have exhaustion from virtual learning, and I don't know what's going on at school. So don't understand the lesson. So exhaustion happens really quickly. So prior to my caregiving experience, I thought exhaustion was something that happened over months. But the reality is exhaustion can happen in a short amount of time. You can get really tired really quick, especially if you're feeling withdrawal and anger and denial. So exhaustion is a real thing. Sleeplessness. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. I just like your sleep habits are out. So that's a symptom out of balance or out of whack or not the same. I had a lot of sleepless nights, or I would go to bed. I could fall asleep, but I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with things on my mind. So I went to sleep well. It was the waking up in the middle of the night with like list on my mind. And then at one time it kind of went to a point where like I didn't want to get out of bed and I was just like sleeping all the time. So if your sleep habits change, that could be a symptom of caregiver stress. Irritability and triggers. That happens quite often when you're caregiving. And sometimes it's from just people, you're not understanding what people are trying to communicate. And when you're irritable, it's kind of like you're always feeling judged. And if people say something, you take it the wrong way. So understanding moodiness and negative responses and actions to some things that may not be negative. So are you more irritable than you have been in the past? Number 9 wasn't my favorite. Not really, but what happened to me a lot was the lack of concentration. It seemed like I had like a million things going on at once. So, and I couldn't put them in the category, and I couldn't remember what I needed to do. I couldn't focus. So when you have stress, it's like you're on a wheel and you don't know what you're doing. So the inability to concentrate and focus, even like with common everyday tasks, is a sign of caregiver stress. Health problems. So one thing is mental and physical health. A lot of times with caregivers, especially like I caregive for a short amount of time, my caregiver mental health became very important to me. So I had to step back and focus and say, well, hold on, wait a minute. I'm not taking care of my mental health. I could see it in the lack of concentration, my moodiness, my circumstantial depression, my social withdrawal. So I had to take steps to make sure that I kept my physical and mental state on task. So the association does a great job in identifying some symptoms of stress, but they also give us ways to alleviate or manage. So we're going to go to the next slide. So this came from the association as well. And I'm so glad they did not number this, but if you look down, number 1 is always remember that you're doing your best. So I had to remind myself of that every day, that I was doing my best. Sometimes my best did not seem good enough. Sometimes my best was mediocre, but I was putting forth, with all the symptoms I had, I was putting forth my best effort. Maybe it was not the outcome I wanted, but I was giving my best. So try to manage your stress levels. And I talk about this all the time with caregivers. But when you're overwhelmed, feeling isolated, and just irritable and can't sleep, sometimes it becomes very difficult. And not that I didn't know that when I came into caregiving. However, when you become the person that needs to manage stress, it becomes so difficult. So, identifying ways for relaxation. Sometimes my unhealthy ways of managing stress became not good, like not answering the phone because I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with people today. So truly finding things to help manage your stress. So I went back to coloring. That's one of my favorite, adult coloring. Just for a few minutes a day. Making sure that I did return calls that I knew people were concerned about me. And I knew that I know who's going to make me laugh. I know who's going to make me cry. So sometimes I choose to talk to the people that I know that's going to make me laugh. So just finding different ways to manage my stress, even if it's for a short amount of time. Uh, the other thing was I was kind of thrust into caregiving. And I know we talk about this all the time. I talked to a caregiver the other day, and I'm going to skip to the make legal and financial plans. Because I was thrusted into caregiving, I was doing a lot of legal and financial plans, like right off the cuff, which made me realize, and we talk about it all the time, but it's absolutely true. And I say, we as adults should not wait until we get a diagnosis. We should not wait until sickness. We need, as responsible parents and spouses, get our legal stuff in order before when we're healthy and up, moving around and can make decisions. It makes it so much easier if you find yourself having to have someone to caregive for you. You already know what you want. It's easy to communicate. And when you're in the midst of the storm, it becomes very, very difficult. So if I learned anything in my caregiver experience is make those legal and financial plans as soon as possible. When you get married, or if you're not married, and when you become adults, when you get assets, when you have things, when you know you have no one to care for you, and you just have somebody in mind, like talk to them about it before. Uh, Another great way, which is very hard, is to find time for yourself. I know I spoke about caregiving months and months and all through my take care of yourself speech. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 3 minutes. Sometimes it's the 7 minutes on your way to work listening to your favorite song. So find a few minutes for yourself every day. One plus about me being a caregiver is that I could identify resources, and everybody can't do that. However, there was times in my inability to concentrate and focus that resources kind of slipped my mind, and somebody had to remind me. So know what resources are out there. Don't be afraid to call someone and ask for help. That's how you get support from your friends, families, church members. Because when you're in the midst of caregiving, you just can't concentrate. So find people and know what's out there available before, and accept changes as they occur. I think that's a good way to manage stress. Like this unrealistic thought that this is the way things are going to be. Things change fast. Some days it's slow, and it was hard for me to accept slow days because it was something I thought that I was forgetting or not paying attention to. So look, being aware that changes are going to happen and adjusting accordingly is really important in managing your stress. So we have resources here at Alzheimer's Arkansas. We are here to help caregivers manage their stress. Maybe it's a phone call on our hotline, or maybe you just need to talk to someone in the office for a minute. We are here and we understand your caregiving needs. Maybe we can help you identify resources. We do have online support groups, and there's a few across the state that are meeting face to face. So please know that we are here for the caregiver. Know that we understand your journey, we understand your challenges, and it's not an easy task. So don't think that you need to be a super caregiver, because you are. Wherever you are, you're doing your best. So I want to thank you for coming and joining me today. Remember, next month is Caregiver Month, National Caregiver Month. We will be highlighting our great caregivers across the state. So look for their stories. We're going to do some other great things to celebrate them. So please stay tuned. Look at our website. Look at our Facebook page. You're on it now. And we will just let you know the great things that will be going on during Caregiver Month. Again, we have drive-in movies, November the 14th in Jacksonville, the 21st in Malvern, and you can keep up with those on our website at alzark.org/movie. Remember that for Caregiver Month, you can text the word caregiver to 91999 to donate in honor of a caregiver. So thank you for your time. Thank you for doing what you do, and see you next week.